Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, gonna be a match between Horang2 and Mind. Top side, it's gonna be Horang2, the Protoss player, also known as Tiger Toss. And in the bottom right, we have a brown Terran. It is Mind. My brain wanted to say blue there for some reason, but I overruled it with an iron fist. Alright, man, so Horang2 kind of sounds like tiger in Korean, so that's why he is sometimes called the Tiger Toss. And this right here is Polyploid. The map we all know and love. It's been in the map pool for a while now. This high ground thing is really hard to take if there's tanks on the low ground here. Gotta always remember that. They do have nice expansions though, right? Anything that is a single wide ramp, high ground, and the expansions on high ground, that's a great place to expand. Everybody loves expanding to those locations. Except, I guess, against Terran when they have the siege tanks and whatnot, so. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. So, PvT here between two excellent players for your Saturday. This is an RJB recommended replay. Now, look. RJB sent me a full pack of replays that he, in general, recommends as being good games. But every once in a while, he'll be like, hey, this game is really good. And when they're really good, really recommended by RJB, then I get extra happy. So be sure to check out RJB TV on YouTube. You can find him by searching RJB TV in the search bar. Leave him a comment on a video. Tell him that Falcon sent ya. He'll be happy. I'll be happy. He does a lot of fastest map if you're into that. And he's very knowledgeable about the StarCraft Brood War scene, the players, the strategies. He just worked a lot at that and is in a very good place for it. So, Probe scouts the wrong direction initially, then swings back around to scout the right direction eventually, which, you know, it's a 3-player map, so, like, the odds are pretty in your favor to scout the right direction the first time, but not guaranteed, and Mind ends up getting it first. So he comes in and says, yes. Oh, it is a gas steal, though. So, okay. Oh, no, it's not a gas steal. I'm an idiot. This is Protoss. My brain was all backwards for a minute. I just cast the game with a gas steal, where a Protoss stole the Terran's gas, and so that's why I was like, but no, not what happening. Factory coming up. Everything's normal. We have gas. Nothing has been stolen. Cybernetic score on the way here from Horang2. And Marine getting rid of the scouting probe. Yes, I have 3 brain cells. Yes, I know. I do my best with the 3 brain cells, which I own. And sometimes the best is all you can do. Man, I'm getting a little bit sick, which I feel like I was sick for like the whole month of October. And then I got over it. November was pretty good. And then I messed up my knee, and that's feeling better. But now I'm getting all scratchy throated, and that usually means I'm going to be sick for like a week. Makes me sad. That's okay. Gotta eat healthier, perhaps. Maybe that's my biggest problem, is not eating enough vegetables. I'm going to eat some vegetables tonight. How about that? Actually, I already had some earlier, but more vegetables, like carrots and green beans and lettuce and stuff. I like this plan. So, very standard opening for a PvT thus far. Got a vulture out. Then we're going to machine shop. Throwing up a bunker at the front to deal with the ranged dragoons, which are definitely in the future for Mind. He knows what's up about that. Does Mind have a cool nickname? His name is kind of cool already, isn't it? Mind. I'm going to do a quick scout for him. Quick search for him. That's what scouting is searching, right? Yes, absolutely. All right, so Mind. Korean pro gamer. Oh, he's wearing a nice, handsome suit in his photo. Looking good, dude. I haven't worn a suit in a long time. Nicknames are Scholar Terran, Rommel, and the Viper. Is that after General Edward Rommel from World War II? I bet it is. That's hilarious. Okay, that's really funny. All right, sweet. So he's very smart, Mind is, and that's his name. So it tracks. Marine's actually chasing the Dragoon out because it doesn't have range yet. You can't start shooting at my stuff until you have range. Get out of here, says Mind, and that is correct. You cannot start shooting at the bunker until your range upgrade is done, and it's almost done. Citadel of Adun, about 50% complete from Horang2. We are working on spider mines. for our Terran player down here. And they're done. So Spider Mine's ready to rock. That's why you don't lose the first Vulture. Just because if it dies, it can never throw Spider Mines down for you. And that is just the worst possible future for a Vulture pilot, is not to be able to throw down Spider Mines. Academy coming up. Just for Comsat. Mostly. Killing his own lurker egg here so as not to avoid, or to avoid an accidental attack on it. Vultures trying to get through here, throw down a spider mine, maybe kill a probe or two. Alright, I think 2 probes went down for 2 vultures. I'm not sure if that was entirely worth it, but you know. Got to slow down the economy of the Protoss somewhat. The Protoss economy doesn't want to be bigger than the Terran economy, so that's what we're looking at here. Robotics facility coming in at about the same time as the Templar Archives, so it could be a storm drop. Could be DTs inside of a shuttle. The options are endless right now. It is DTs, and it is a shuttle. Okay, nice. So Horang2 maybe going for some DT shenanigans, but that's why we have the ComSat station as previously mentioned. Two ComSat stations as previously mentioned. Maybe some missile turrets would be awesome as well. Engineering bay would not be bad. The observatory coming in as well to deal with the spider mines, which do exist, but all on this side of the map. Terran music washing over us with its brilliance and timelessness. It's just so good. It's just so good. All right, so what's happening now? So 2 DTs are trying to move in. This map is good for DTs. I don't know why. But that, I mean, it's bad for DTs because there's already Goliaths out, and the shuttle has to get out of there. Also, Spider Mines are in that position. Dude, Mind was ready for that. Mind was just absolutely like, I know it's going to be DTs. I know it's going to be something in a shuttle. Let's be prepared for it. Shut it down and then not lose anything. And then maybe make a nice little push. Horang2 delayed his third a little bit for those fast DTs that got absolutely nothing done, but round 2. Round 2 of trying to get something done. And the DTs are in the house. They're inside the mineral line. There's a scan coming in. Invisible unit, good. Ooh, there's a missile turret here too. And there's the scan. And the DT fighting hard does get evaporated. That is what DTs do when they die, is they evaporate. They kind of die like Zealots do, except Zealots come back as Dragoons. DTs don't come back as anything. They just disappear. Their bodies just move into the universe, I guess. Arbiter Tribunal coming in 8 minutes. Pretty standard 2 base Arbiter stuff here out of Horang2. We haven't seen a ton of it recently, but it's not like in every game kind of a thing either. And there's your 3rd base. But the problem is, Mind has already started his 3rd base, so I think Mind is looking very good. I'd say Mind being on 2 bases here, almost on 3 bases while the Protoss' 3rd is just getting started is awesome. The economy of the situation is very real right now. Vultures doing the YOLO Vulture stuff. Gonna try to get in here and kill some of these probes. Maybe throw down... Wait, do we have spider mines? You have a spider mine. Get a spider mine. Just throw it down somewhere. You can't die with a spider mine out. There you go. And he gets it down, and it does get a hit off there. Not bad. Vulture dies after killing a couple probes. Nothing too terrible there. Meanwhile, a Zealot run in. I mean, warp in. I mean, shuttle in. Zealot shuttle in trying to do some stuff. Doesn't do a lot there. What are we at? 46 SCVs to 52 probes. Yeah, I mean, some SCVs have died. Some probes have died. We're pretty even across the board here. Arbiter in production in that there. Stargate, we are pushing with our Dragoons. And Mind has decided it's time to go up. He's got a couple Goliaths to deal with the Arbiters and shuttles and stuff. He's got a bunch of siege tanks. No tanks have died. Which, if we talk about, keeping that tank count low is kind of an important thing that Protoss needs to do in this game. And he doesn't, and as a result, now he has to deal with 7 siege tanks at 10 minutes, and the probes are getting blasted. And by that, I mean all the probes in that base are gone. We're down to 49 probes now, to 54 SCVs. I'm gonna wander into, you know, just Spider Minefield. It's cool. Ow. Ow. A Dragoon dies, but the Dragoons are staying alive, and they're being dealt with by a siege tank defending Nexus down. Vultures get all the way into the main base again. Mind is sort of taking Horang2 apart here. Just a little bit. All right, so look. Unfortunately, Horang2's been knocked down to 2 bases. And it's 3 bases for Mind. So a win for Horang2 from this position is going to be extremely difficult. Charon boosters on the way. He's up 101 to 105 supply. Horang2 is up on that. Army supply is bigger. Horang2 is going to take a 3rd base on this high ground instead, which we've talked about. Siege tanks can sit down here and murderize bases that are at this location, so it's risky. But also, those tanks that just kind of wandered up and murdered the 3rd base in this location, it was a problem. So recall's getting researched. Just more of the same here from the Terran. TDP is what it is at this stage. It is a million siege tanks. It is vultures. It is Goliaths. It is maybe some science vessels for EMPs, because EMP is getting researched here. Defensive Matrix is going to be a play too. But yeah, this is economically super ultra mega lightning bad for Horang2. That said, Protoss very capable of making comebacks. Artosis himself has had some things to say on the subject and about its balance and its imbalance. That's what you're into. Some people are into the imbalance. I get it. But anyway, Stasis getting researched too. He who casts the spells more efficiently and effectively will usually win a game of StarCraft Brood War that gets to that point where spells are a thing. Right? Like if you just to proxy gate someone and kill them, spellcasting didn't matter. But if we get to the point where spells are a thing, he who does the spellcasting better is going to win the game, usually. The better storms, the better stasis, the better EMPs, the better defensive matrix here is going to be a big deal. It is more so for the Protoss, right? Because stasises are almost required in the situation to keep that tank count low. Has a tank died today? I'm not convinced the tank has died today for Mind. He is at 144 supply. Got a billion tanks out. They have +2 attack and +1 armor. The Dragoons are sitting at +1 attack and nothing else, but working on +2 attack. Protoss traditionally does not get the armor upgrades against Terran. And then maybe, okay, I like this. Ooh, that's a 4th base and then a 5th base. Horang2 trying to make a comeback economically. That kind of rhyme. Alright, continuing the push out here. By continuing, I mean doing it again. This is so many siege tanks. I don't know. I don't know that Horang2 can do this right now. That observer gonna die. Goliath chasing it. Goliath not very fast, but kills another one instead. Dancing about. This is not. This is really looking bad for Horang2 right now. I mean, the upgrades are just, they're better for the Terran. They have a billion siege tanks. There are no carriers to be seen in the future of Horang2. If he can survive this attack, maybe he'll transition into carriers, but he's not going to try it now. This is not a good time to transition into anything. So sneaking in from the top side here, trying to catch these vultures without siege tank support. Nice stasis. Does catch a couple vultures and a science vessel, but none of the siege tanks, which is maybe not that great. Yeah, Horang2 needs to keep the Terran occupied here. If the Terran is allowed to get up to any of these big expansions, they're going to die, and there's not a lot that Horang2 can do about it. So what's he trying to sneak? He's sneaking down this way, because this is actually where mine has a 4th base of his own. The question is, can he do anything about it? He's moving in. The spider mines are doing pretty good against these zealots. And then trying to throw down additional spider mines here amongst the dragoons is not going to work out. And actually, mine comes all the way home to deal with this. Interestingly enough, I don't know about this choice from Mind. I mean, sure, he's going to save his 4th base. Well, it got lifted up anyway, but he's going to save it. But I kind of feel like he could have gotten onto a rampage there and just won the game straight up. These dragoons are doing pretty well, y'all. They've got the +2 attack now. Alright, so 4th base has been reestablished here from Mind. But Horang2 is able to very nicely establish a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th base pretty quickly, actually. So I like it. I like this from him a lot. Zealots are working on +3 attack. Zealots dying to vultures. But there's only 1 siege tank up here, so like he's gonna get focused fired and totally murderized. Spider mines, getting some decent hits off on those zealots, but not really. Man, this arbiter's still here. It could recall. It doesn't have energy for recall, but if it had energy, it could recall. Mind. Backed into a corner a bit here. He really wants this base to survive, but at what cost? Oh man, Horang2, he's just pushing. He's making such good choices right now. Absolutely cruising on in here. Gonna maybe, I don't know, a couple siege tanks are showing up. Zealots are trying to get rid of them before they can do too much damage on the other side, but okay, so 1 tank dies, but 1 stays alive. Counts for something. A lot of SCVs getting killed by these dragoons in their +2 attack. 53 to 52 workers. Right now in favor of Horang2, just barely. And going back to work here. So, alright, I guess Mind is happy being on 4 bases. If Horang2 is on 5 bases, I think that seems to be something he is quite amenable to. He's got, is that +3, +2 upgrades? He does. Dude, the +3 siege tanks are just so mean to dragoons and pretty mean to zealots too, but not as mean. 176 to 150 supply. I mean, that attack cost a bunch of units to try to kill this base and just didn't. Another attempted attack coming in here from Mind. Is he going to be able to break this one? Coming in from all directions, though. Well, 3 directions. Is Horang2. Then he decides, never you mind. All right, trying to get a sandwich up. Going for a Dragoon as the bread and Siege Tanks and Vultures as the inner workings of the sandwich. Decides not to do that after all, and instead send a few Dragoons down here to the 3rd base and try to kill some more SCVs. But this is, again, Siege Tank position, low ground, dead Nexus. It's really just tale as old as time as far as this map is concerned, but look who's going to lose his 3rd base. And once again, Mind is coming back to try to save a base that's, well, this one's already dead. A couple siege tanks left alone. Horang2, man. Is he going to win this game after being knocked down to 2 bases pretty heavily? I mean, if you're Mind, I think maybe you just kind of go. You just rely on reinforcements to deal with these Dragoons. Nah, he's bringing everything home. I disagree. I disagree with this. Okay, now he's moving out. That's what I think he's been needing to do that for a while now. So this group does get wiped out by Los Vultures. Also, a siege tank on the low ground should be able to handle this. But command center running anyway. Top right base going to die for the 2nd time today. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Horang2 going to try to defend it, but I don't think he has enough to do so. Yeah, no, not enough to do so at all. Oh, that Dragoon accepts a hit. Yeah, all right. This Dragoon's alive. Jinxed it. Jinxed it. Did you just he faking a recall into here? I don't think he successfully recalled because these would be more injured if that was the case. They're a little bit injured, but nah. That Dragoon's been hanging out here for some time as well. I don't know that Mind knows about this base. He would feel a lot worse about this game if he knew about this. He's just kind of lackadaisically expanding himself. He's got 38 SCVs after a bunch of them have died recently, and Horang2 is only at 40. Direct engagement, middle of the map here, but no. Horang2 decides it's time to get out of there. He is skedaddling, retreating from this position. Suddenly, oh no, he ran through a minefield and Horang2 taps out. A bit of an abrupt ending there for Horang2, but he ends up losing to Mind, unfortunately, in a something of an anticlimactic ending, I guess is what I'm going to call this here. I'm realizing all of a sudden that I have cast a game very similar to this. Maybe I haven't cast this exact game, but I have definitely cast a game very, very similar to this, where that was the ending, right? I don't necessarily remember the other stuff in this game particularly strongly, but I do remember the Protoss player was engaging, and then they pulled back into a minefield they didn't see, lost a whole bunch, and tapped out. And it was the same thing. I was like, what? And I had to rewind and look at it, but I mean, it's 162 to 122 supply, and now it's just worse. And then he pulls back, and there's just a random minefield here that it knocks him down to 98 supply, and then he taps out. Oh, this might be a recast. I don't know. I'm going to have to go look at my records. I'm definitely posting it, though, because it's a good game anyway. And you know what? I've got 50,000 subs, and I get like, I don't know, maybe 5,000 of you to watch any given cast. So I'm willing to bet for a bunch of you watching that was a brand new match you've never watched before. I guess this is the risk, though. This is the risk that happens when you've cast about 2,000 Brood War games on your channel, huh? I think it is. So, I mean, look. Horang2, would he have held on if he kept these Dragoons alive instead of wandering through a spider minefield and gone this way instead? Maybe. He maybe could have won, but also he's dealing with +3 siege tanks, a lot of siege tanks. He hasn't been doing a particularly great job at keeping that tank count low. He's probably going to lose this space again. This base wasn't even up and running, and if the Terran finds this thing, that's pretty much it. I mean, Mind, for as much as I'm ragging on him for taking extra bases, he's doing really well with it, and it's helping him a lot. So, good game. I mean, Horang2 didn't get a lot done with his early DT drops or his Zealot drops, so that was kind of unfortunate. He really banked a lot on that. And then losing that third base early and then being knocked down to 2 bases as a result and just having a 3-basing Terran versing a 2-basing Protoss is just not a situation any Protoss is going to be happy to be in. They're always going to be annoyed about that. So end of the day, 124,000 points for Horang2, 149 for Mind. Lost in spaces here. That's oh, I know who that is. I don't know who it is. Outproduced the Protoss pretty heavily, which is not great in a TVP. Buildings raised fairly similar, and then resources here did outspend the Terran, but only by about 1,000. Well, closer to 2,000 resources, but I mean, it's a 20-minute game, and it's just a tiny percentage. Whew, it's a tiny percentage. All right, good stuff. Good stuff indeed. And that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.